everyone, and thank you for tuning into Wowhead Weekly number 123. We had a great week off. Perk was in New York visiting family, and now we're back and ready to talk about all of the World of Warcraft Blizzard news that happened in the past 2 weeks. Before we get into that, though, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead Site Manager, Perculia.
Hey everyone, this is the first time in months, weeks, that we have no PTR news because 725 is now live. So we have a lot of exciting stuff. We have all these undocumented changes. We have a schedule because a lot of the stuff we previewed you can't do for like 4 months.
Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of Blizzard news coming in. You know, we figure a lot of you guys like Blizzard news, so we're gonna, you know, do a little roundup and see if that's a thing.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited about this because I've been trying to interject with other Blizzard news here for like months. So I feel like this has to go well because I need this for personal reasons. But of course, 7.2.5 came out on the 13th, so there's lots of stuff to do this week. I can't talk. Goodness, do you hear me? I'm like stumbling over my own words. Jeez. I had a big cup of coffee before this, so I feel like my mouth is moving a little faster than my brain. But lots of stuff to do this week with 725 just coming out. Of course, lots of class changes. Particularly if you play a Warlock, you're probably pretty happy. Warlock's got a really, really nice buff this patch. Were there any other notable ones?
Yeah,
Vengeance Demon
your
Hunters,
audio skip there. Please, Discord, do more audio video things. But yeah, the big ones, Warlocks were pretty big. Demon Hunters were big. I think DPS Warriors had some changes as well as their, you know, main trinket had some nerfs to it. Discipline Priests had a lot of changes. So yeah, we have our own version of the patch notes because sometimes the Blizzard ones, like, they don't, you know, it's where I'm always on, you know, we do the data mining, the Blizzard community team has a bunch of other things going on, but you can check out our class notes to see all the changes, as well as our class guides on the overview page. We tell you what exactly has changed from 7.2 to 7.25.
Yep. Like, okay, so I haven't done the Chromie scenario yet. Have you done it?
I have. It's so fun. I actually, you know, we have a lot of guide writers on Wowhead, and I don't write all the guides, but I wrote the Deaths of Chromie guide, most of it. It is super fun. I like how it's kind of repeatable and you can focus on different things. So like you can grind rep with her if you don't want to do the speed run, or you can just farm chest hoping you get the cute pet, or you can, you know, try to be super efficient.
There's a lot of pets too out of that, isn't there?
Yeah, so there's the 2 pets you can get, the Ageless Bronze Drake and the Bronze Proto-Whelp from the Time Lost Wallet. And then you get the Time Lord title for Chromie Homie, and they just hotfixed that to be account-wide. And then if you do all the attempts in the time frame, you get a new transmog set.
Cool. Yeah, I had somebody tweet me the other day, and they were like, I've gotten 2 of the pets, only like 6 more to go. From patch 7.2.5, they were talking about they got the Chromie ones. So I definitely have to try that out. How do you queue up for that? How do you start that?
All right, so you go to Khadgar and Dalaran, and he says that Chromie needs help, and then you can take the Wormrest Temple portal, you know, from the basement of Dalaran.
Stairs,
yeah, and then you can just, you know, keep talking to her and queue up from there, and yeah, you'll do a few introductory quests, one after the other. There's no like cooldown on them, like reaching the tomb, and then you can just, you know, keep going every time. A really interesting thing is that Chromie has abilities. The UI kind of looks like your Order Hall Advanced one, or I guess Diablo followers. And as you get more rep with her, you can research and unlock more talents from her.
Gotcha.
So some of them at the end that are like really powerful take something like 5 days to research, but you can get, you know, a few per day. And people have already left tips on Wowhead about how they, you know, did it with just the bare minimum of Chromie talents. So it can be done. Obviously, it's easier if you have, you know, 7 abilities versus 2.
Yeah.
But, you know, people are getting it done now.
That's cool. So, all right. Another thing that obviously is in 7.25 is that Tomb of Sargeras, all of the files got put in the game, but it doesn't actually open until the 20th. So you have like a couple days left to get cutting edge or ahead of the curve. You've got until, you know, Monday night, right? Because that goes away on Tuesday, correct? Yeah, that ahead of the curve, cutting edge, you cannot do that when Tomb opens. So like if you are if you're in Europe, you have, you know, Tuesday. But yeah, next week, no more special pizza strength. Yeah, so if you're trying to do that, definitely do that. And then also in this most recent patch, the heirlooms were updated, which I feel like we didn't focus a whole lot on, but it's a really cool update that a lot of people ask about. You can now buy upgrades to scale your heirloom items to level 110, which is going to make leveling alts, between that and flying, leveling alts is going to be an absolute breeze.
Yeah, also some people pointed out to me, so the weathered heirloom scabbard for weapons doesn't really seem amazing at first, but if you think about alts that maybe you're just leveling with Legion assaults, you know, maybe they don't have a weapon, so this is actually maybe good for them. You know, if you're someone that levels in, you know, logs in, does their invasion once a day and logs out, they probably have pretty bad, pretty bad weapons, or maybe you're bad at your alt and you don't have your heirloom, you don't have your artifact yet, and you want to have like an okay weapon.
So my thought on that, right, is that right now maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense because you're going to spend time on your artifact this expansion. But if I had to guess, next expansion, it's not going to be nearly as mandatory to go through and do all of that since we won't be using artifacts. So even though it might look kind of silly now, like WoW is always kind of building towards the future, and just because something doesn't make a lot of sense or seem like polished right this second doesn't mean it doesn't serve a purpose in the future. So it's like if you don't want to get it now, just don't. But that may be something that you very well want in the future. Not to mention, if they didn't add the up to 110, that would mean that whatever the next high level is, you know, whether it's 120 or 115, there would have to be that middle gap there anyways. So it might seem silly now, but I don't think it's going to be silly in the long run.
Yeah. I left this out of the notes, but it's related to heirlooms. So as kind of good timing, you've got the Dark Moon Fair coming in a few weeks, and that's got the 10% experience boost with the top hat. And then you also have the Midsummer Fire Festival, which has the Ribbon Dance, which is another 10% buff, and that's on the 21st. So these heirlooms have, you know, really good timing that they were added to the game with these boosts coming up.
Yeah, and they're just a couple days away, too. What's that, next weekend or the weekend after?
Yeah, I mean, the Midsummer is right with Tomb, so that's super.
Yeah, and then finally, the other thing that you can start doing right now with 7.25 is the Dead Mines Pet Battle Challenge, though I think you have to have already done the Wailing Caverns?
Wailing Caverns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we have a lot of guides to all the pet battle things. I believe Zillions has made an overall guide for the challenge dungeon, because if you can go through the instance without healing your pets, you get an old bottle cap coin, and with that you can buy the Pocket Cannon, Tricorn, or Pet Reaper .9 battle pets.
Yeah.
And apparently they have some pretty cool abilities. So, check that out, and thanks everyone that leaves strategies or tips on pets on Wowhead.
Yeah, and then also in 7.2.5 we saw some changes to artifact power and artifact knowledge. So right now the artifact knowledge work orders will only take 3 hours and 36 minutes to complete per level, which is obviously a ridiculous nerf. I think it was 48 hours or 72 hours before. So I mean, this was
like
yeah, it is a huge nerf. And this is going to be great for your alts if you're not already AK-40, or for returning players, because I feel like a lot of people have felt, you know, I'm so far behind, how will I ever catch up? And, you know, when they nerf something to that extent, they're really kind of encouraging people to get back into the swing of things. I mean, you'll be AK level 40 in just a few days, whereas before it obviously took a very long time to do that. And then, like I just said, if you do get to artifact knowledge level 40, you can send a tome to your alts that will instantly boost them to artifact knowledge level 40. So if you're trying to get concordance on any of your alts to get the toys, like the Demon Hunter Pepe, for instance, this is definitely something that's going to make that a lot easier. And if you are leveling them, obviously the heirlooms being level upable and flying being account wide, there's so many things now that are really encouraging people to play alts or to come back, which I feel like a big criticism of this expansion has been that it hasn't been very alt friendly. So while it did take them a while, it does seem like it's getting to the point where it's pretty alt friendly. We have people that are able to switch their mains in raid now in just a couple weeks, whereas it felt very, very impossible in the beginning of the expansion.
Yeah, one more note on the artifact changes. So this was not previewed on the PTR. I noticed that game director Ian Hazacostas on his Twitter responded to someone the day the patch came out, being like, yeah, you're right, artifact knowledge feels really daunting, we should change that. And then, you know, 1 or 2 days later, they just like went ahead and made this big change.
Yeah.
So that was encouraging. They listened to feedback and had the tech to be able to change it that much.
Well, and I'm not really mad. At first, obviously, when they kept saying, we expect Legion to be the most alt-friendly expansion, everybody's like, oh my god, yeah, right, no way. I kind of don't mind that at first it wasn't, because I think the intention of that early content is to have you focus on your main and to have you focus on the content as opposed to boosting your roster. So I feel like, once again, if this was something that they would have kind of said in the future, it's going to be very alt friendly. Right now, we want you to focus on their characters. Like, once again, maybe they could have relieved themselves of a little backlash just by presenting the information in a little bit different of a way. But overall, I'm really happy with where we're at right this second in time. So on top of all the stuff we've already talked about, there were a lot of undocumented changes in this patch.
Yeah. So, 2 of them involve Pepe even.
Right? So hold on. I'm moving this down here just for a second. So we'll talk about those ones first. We'll talk about the last ones at the bottom.
All right, so first one is Obliterum now goes up to 900. Previously, we thought it was only going up to 885, but 900 is pretty good, especially for some of those Dark Moon trinkets.
Absolutely. That's a very big difference, too. Like, between 885 and 900, I feel like 900 right now is the big... If you're not a hardcore endgame PvE player, if you're just kind of like the average player, I feel like 900 is like... it feels really good to be at that level. I feel like, that turning from 899 to 900 feels like a big accomplishment. So I think that at this point in the expansion, this is the right thing to do, because the gear that's going to be dropping out of Tomb is obviously significantly better, and this is going to give people, once again, that might be coming back or switching mains, the opportunity to actually catch up.
Right, and if you look at the Mage Tower guides, a lot of the Wowhead guide writers have written, they're like, oh, like 900 is kind of the lower end of where you can start feeling good doing the challenge. So I feel like if, a lot of people that have alts feel they just sort of hit a wall when they get their relinquished Nether Shard gear around 880. And I feel that having these crafted items go up to 900 can sort of push you into the next band of, feeling comfortable with your DPS and performance.
And not only that, but it's also going to be good for the economy for people who can craft that gear, because there's always been this point in World of Warcraft where you craft gear, and then at the very beginning it's like selling like hotcakes, everybody wants it, and then the further into the expansion it goes, the less people want it. So the fact that they went ahead and removed that quest cap on Obliterum and they made it now go up to 900, that's kind of ensuring that our tailors and our leather workers and whatnot can continue to actually make a little bit of gold this expansion with their crafting professions. Right. Because that was a big
in addition to his legend.
Oh, absolutely, in addition to the legendaries. So I feel like this patch, while it might not be as in your face, like, oh, so much content, I actually feel like low-key a lot of things that people have been asking for, going on a year now, are actually being implemented into the game, and it feels good. It feels good to have feedback that feels like it's been heard, and it feels like changes are made based on what the player base actually wants.
Yeah, like you can actually attempt the content more easily, and then it opens up for you, and you're like, wow, there's actually more I can do, instead of feeling like I'm just stuck on the broken shore doing world quests.
Absolutely, and I would love the data on how many people are, like, in the percentage of people that are 110. I would love to see the data on how many people are actually at a progression level that this is all good for them. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so interested in that data, because you always see people speculating online, like, oh, so many people have this item, why would they do that, or why would they do this? And, like, you have to imagine that there's somebody at Blizzard who works on the statistics and the data of all of it, and like I would love to see like infographics and charts and stuff like that that actually showed us like how many people don't have those transmogs, that chromie drops, that are remodels of things that are already in the game, but still it makes me wonder like how many people actually have those or have done the content that could have possibly earned them before. And when you get into things like the Obliterum and how many people actually need that gear, I just think that would be very interesting, because I think that number is a lot higher than people would assume. Oh, speaking of things that people want and that they can get now, the fishing bobber toys.
Hello, Pepe.
Yeah, the fishing bobber toys like Pepe, and there's a rubber duck, there's a can of worms, all of that stuff has a higher drop rate now. So if you are working on your artifact fishing pole or your rep with Conjure or Margos, you're going to have a little bit better of a chance of getting those fun items.
Yep. Also, hunters can now tame the Lost Ember Spit Scorpion. This was an accidental tame a few patches ago that Blizzard hotfixed out, and then they made it available for real. So what you have to do is you just go to the Molten Front, and he will periodically spawn. but the Molten Front is a phased area, so first you have to do some Hyjal questing, and then do the introductory quest to go to the Molten Front. And once you're there, there's a lot of, like, dailies. It was kind of like this complex daily structure. You can do a bunch of dailies and stuff to get toys and the title and achievements. So if you started playing after Cataclysm, check it out. You might find some more fun stuff to do there.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff from the Molten Front. There's a pet that I actually wanted really bad. It was the Searing Scorchling, because I play a shaman and it's literally a miniature fire elemental. And I had a friend who had done all of that rep in Cataclysm, so he happened to have 2 of those, and I was like, I'm not going to tell you how much you could sell that for, because I do want it. How much do you want for it? Because I really want that pet. So there are a lot of cool pets and toys that you can get from that reputation. There's a lot of cool stuff from that. So now, speaking of reputation, Perk, take it away.
Yeah, so another change is that reputation rewards for getting the bonus percentage on your class hall missions are now much better. So previously, if you did a rep mission, you would get this Broken Isles cache that had, like, a token that was 250 rep, and now the tokens are 1,500 rep. Yeah. So that's way better.
Well, and it's so awesome, too, especially if you're going for, like, the Paragon reputation. I mean, that's, like, 15% of what you need to potentially get one of those mounts. So I do really wish those mounts were. I have such a love-hate relationship with RNG, because, like, I've gotten lucky a lot. Like, the day that I got Ashes of Alar, which I did run Ashes of Alar, I ran that probably 100 times, but the day that I got Ashes of Alar, I was like, oh, well, now I'll start farming Onyxia, and I got that on my first drop ever. So it was, RNG has worked in my favor in the past, but then in the same sense, like, when you do run something over and over and over again, you're getting into 100, 200, 300, X number of runs or X number of rep, and you're still not getting the thing. I feel like everything in WoW should have diminishing returns, where, maybe it's a 1 in 1,000 chance the first time, but you have that kind of bad luck protection, because if people are grinding out a ton of rep, I would like to see them get the Moose and the Unicorn and all the things that they want.
Right. Plus, I don't know if this is just me, if I don't like the Exalted rewards, but it feels like at Honored you have your toy, and at Revered you have your pet, and Exalted it's like, I guess they have a tabard and some, like, rank tree recipes.
Yeah,
so it feels like you go from Revered to Paragon and just have this, like, big rep gain in the middle.
Well, in the Paragon, again, it kind of just feels bad because it's so random. Like, I get so excited to go hand in my Paragon rep, and then it's like, I think you almost always get, if you don't get the mount, you get, like, 600 gold or something like that every time, and you're like, okay, this was not worth it. This was not worth it at all. But what are you gonna do? Also, this was really cool. So wait, I'll flip over. I have a little image gallery for this. But hold on, gotta go back to where I was. Heirlooms, and then we are. This is the Seal of Honor. So this was an undocumented. I am echoing very badly. Hang on. Let me see if it stops.
Yeah.
Let me mute myself. All right, is it echoing now? All right. Yes. Now? So badly.
You sound better, I think.
Hang on one second. I'm gonna call you right back, okay? And see if we can fix it.
Hey.
Hi.
We good?
Yeah, a little better. Okay, so anyways, an undocumented change that happened this week as well was that Marks of Honor can now be used to purchase Seals of Fate, which a lot of people are really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, I was using them for transmog, but you get so many quickly that it's like, why not have that option if you are big into PvP to use that instead of, gold or garrison. Not garrison, order gold.
I say it all the time. It's not just you. Also, another thing that I knew you were really excited about is that the Druid form, which has been highly controversial, honestly, one of the cool things about it is that Pepe does appear on your head. If you do have Pepe enabled, he does appear on your head when you're in the new...
He's a little lopsided, though.
Yeah, he's
like...
Yeah, he's not doing a great job balancing. You're not wrong, but maybe they'll fix that in the future since people love Pepe. People love Pepe. Also, this was undocumented as well, is that there are more vicious mounts that you can purchase. There's a few of them.
So we data mined a few patches ago, and they didn't all make it into the game, and Blizzard said they'd be added in the future. So this patch, they added in the Vicious Lion and the Vicious Scorpion, and you get these by turning in the saddle token that you get for doing like 100 arenas or 40 rated battlegrounds in a season. And there's lots of options, as you can see in the slideshow. At this point, I think each class has like 8 different racial theme ones they can get. So I like the lion. I think my favorite is still the night elf mount. But yeah, more mounts is always good. You know, keeps people trying to get more mounts and, you know, being active in PvP every season.
I think that it's important that they do have a lot of PvP rewards too, because I feel like so often PvPers kind of don't get the same amount of special treatment and care as PvEers do. I mean, we're obviously every big patch we expect a new raid, and that is not. I mean, there hasn't been a new BG in 2 expansions. I mean, if you,
Pandaria,
yeah,
Ashran,
I mean, it's been a while. Yeah, Ashran, if you want to count it as that. But yeah, so I feel like it is important that they do have more of these rewards and more things that people can redeem their tokens for, and, you know, just more stuff to get and more incentive to do PvP. Because if you're PvPing, I mean, it already feels. At least there are clear recolors between PvE and PvP gear, and we see that, you know, there are PvP versions that have all the same mythic doodads and whatnot, but I still feel like as a PvPer, it would be easy to feel like you were on the back burner, so I think it's important that they do stuff like that. So also, on top of the undocumented changes, on top of all the other things that we talked about, there were some discoveries made since patch 7.2.5 went live, and I mean quite a few. I've got a slideshow here that I can show you guys. But there is the Sun Darter hatchling. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. This was a very complicated puzzle that I think Muffinus and Celestalon thought up together, where there's this cave on the shore of Winter Spring, and there are a ton of barriers and obstacles in the cave, and you're silenced, so you can't use any abilities, but you have to find a way to get through them. And you get through it by using different consumables to get through every wall. So, for example, you need to use a fire protection potion from Burning Crusade to get through, you know, the fiery wall. You need to use a Noggin Fogger elixir to get through a gargoyle. Really fun random puzzles like this. And the Secret Finding Discord, like, they went through like every item listed as a consumable on Wowhead, and they would try it out in different combinations to see if they could get through all the walls. And the reward is this really cute Sun Darter hatchling pet who I've been told by people that are pet battlers is you know, a pretty strong pet because it's a critter and has a certain set of abilities. So yeah, it's super
really
cute. I haven't done it yet. Alchemists are like, oh my god, like everyone needs all these obscure potions. Like, we're making so much gold.
We're making so. What do you know? At this point, they should really just take gold and deposit it directly into all alchemists and herbalists' accounts, because I mean, they just make so much money. I picked the wrong profession, that's for sure. On top of the Sun Darter hatchling, which I think is an awesome mount pet. I think it's a really cool pet, and I definitely want it, particularly because I have like very fond feelings about the Sprite Darter hatchling, because that's like the first rare pet that I ever got as a WoW player. So I feel like I really want the Sun Darter one for that. There's also a new shirt from the Brawlers Guild, the Electrified Compression shirt, which in this slideshow you see it appearing on a female orc, and it's very reminiscent of some male chest pieces that were in Hyjal, or at least that's what it reminds me of. There's like a purpley, like in green version.
The Nether Supremus, the rogue shirt. I have that.
I really like it. Then there's also the Glyph of Angels for Priest, which you'll see is those angel wings. That is actually a Mists of Pandaria instance drop.
Yeah, so a lot of people noticed it this week because it was Pandaria time walking, but I believe we got some reports it can drop in the Pandaria raids as well. And this was cool because they added it in Mists, and then I think it was removed in Legion, so people are excited it's now returned.
Yeah, and then there's also new some new Warlock glyphs as well.
Yeah, so we have one, they're sort of in a state of being discovered, but we have the floating shards, which you can buy with nether shards, which is the one on the slideshow. Then we've got ember shards, which the game says is a drop from Kil'jaeden. And then we've got the fell touched shards, which we don't know where it's from. So we're suspecting maybe a tomb boss, like, you know, something fell sounding like Fallen Avatar, but it's currently a mystery.
We will find out soon enough. And then finally, there is a new fisher friend of the Broken Isles.
Yeah, this was a little interesting because the Secret Finding Discord, Zaron, he discovered that this fisher friend was up in Azuna, and if you fish up certain types of fish, you gain rep with her, and then you can buy this enchanted bobber toy. But then Blizzard did hotfixes yesterday being like, hey, she wasn't meant to spawn yet, so she'll be removed. She wasn't ready for her debut. So we know that there will be NPCs coming that you grind rep with in each zone, and they will have a fishing bobber toy that you can buy, but apparently we weren't meant to do that with yet.
See, I kind of love that they're adding all these new little things to incentivize things that we've already been able to do. Like, for instance, like, obviously, I feel like fishing got a lot of attention this expansion, just in general, obviously with Conjurer Margos and the Artifact Fishing Pole, but I like the idea that halfway through the expansion, they're like, okay, so people like fishing, they've got their Artifact Fishing Poles, they're doing Conjurer Margos, here's some other cool fishing stuff that you're going to be able to do, and then on top of that, they went ahead and added things that are incentivizing to get caught up to be able to do that new content. And I feel like there's a lot of very thoughtfully done things in this expansion, even this patch, excuse me, even if it doesn't seem as immediately obvious.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, actually, about how they sort of stagger things out to keep incentivizing people. But just to run down quickly, what's also going on this week, Mist Time Walking is obviously going on.
Yep.
And there's a lot of, like, Mist was the expansion when they started doing a lot of cool things with Reputation.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's worth running to get the commendation tokens, because there's, like, mounts and weapon illusions and pets and toys and transmog, all sorts of things. The Packed House PvP brawl is going on. It's 15-15 in an arena setting.
I saw people tweeting about this, that this was like the greatest BG of all time. And this is basically Team Deathmatch. This is a large scale arena. And I feel like Team Deathmatch is something that people have been asking for since before PvP existed in the World of Warcraft outside of World PvP. So even if it is just a brawl, I still feel like this is something that's really satisfying to a lot of players, especially people who have been PvPing a long time. I mean, I made a video maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I think it was right before Warlords of Draenor came out, and it was a wish list for World of Warcraft in the future, like things they could do that would make people happy in World of Warcraft. And one of them was, I think the number one that I asked for was Team Deathmatch, because so many people play BGs like it's Team Deathmatch anyways. So many people just ignore whatever the objective is. I mean, that's every game really, but so I'm glad that they added this. It is something that I do plan on doing, and they have such good rewards too when you do the brawls. It's always worth doing them at least once.
That artifact power is pretty good.
It's nuts, especially again if you're doing alts or anything like that. Like I got my hunter to 110 a couple weeks ago, and she's already like artifact knowledge level 40. She's at like 47 or 48 points. Like her artifact is empowered. It's so it's fun how quickly you can get caught up on alts and how you can feel like what you're doing is meaningful. And then they add things like that where you can do this kind of fun offbeat thing and still be rewarded with something like artifact power, and it feels like you're not wasting your time.
Yeah. Plus, if you're grinding Prestige, Legion Season 4 came out this week, and there are new ranks that you can get, so that with new ranks means that there's, like, new mounts and pets and toys and all sorts of things. So, you know, brawls are usually a good source because they have a time duration, so, you know, you won't be dragging in there. You'll be getting a good rate of Prestige and honor.
Yeah, it is worth.
In sadder news, everyone donated towards the Nether Disruptor, and it's up, but we all wanted it to be up for the opening of the raid because it has the Fate Smiles Upon You buff, which is if you fail your bonus roll, there's a chance you will have your Seal of Broken Fate refunded. Yeah. Which sounds like it would be good for, you know,
the first week of Tomb, But this is, I mean, we are typical in the WoW community of doing things and not really thinking them through thoroughly and then having to deal with the consequences of those actions. So nothing super surprising there. Now, there's a lot of stuff coming soon, too, as well. Obviously, we've talked a lot about in the past couple weeks that Blizzard has been staggering content to keep things interesting on a more weekly, bi-weekly basis, as opposed to, like, dumping a bunch of content on us all at once, which I think is a great change from Warlords of Draenor. Ooh, this one I know you want to talk about, the toy, the Shoe Shine kit.
Yeah. Before we go, I just wanted to say a quick thing for SAS. We have a giveaway in Twitch chat, and the prize is 30 days of game time, and the keyword is WowG time, one word. So, yep, enter there. Moving on to what's coming. So the Shoe Shine kit toy, which was data mined like years ago, is finally spawning in 725. It spawns Saturday night to Sunday morning at midnight server time. So June 17th through 18th is the first time to attempt to get this toy, and it's by Sheddle's like little cobbler area on the second floor in Dalaran. And you might be like, hey, I know that guy. He was the shoe shiner in Wrath, and when you sat in his chair, you would get sparkly feet. So that's a cool tribute how they've, you know, updated him for Legion, and now he has a toy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Finding has left like a comment explaining all the details. Like, I think I need to look it up. I'm not sure if I don't know if like one person can loot it or if everyone can, because if it's one person, that would be a crazy stampede.
You're not wrong.
Oh, apparently, after all, it's just a race. As soon as someone loots the toy, the chest will despawn. So
perfect. Thank God. That's just what we needed.
Expect a stampede of people tripping over their shoes.
Have fun with that. Have fun with that. Obviously, Tomb of Sargeras Normal and Heroic opens on June 20th, and Wowhead does have guides for all of the bosses. You guys will have guides for all of the bosses. Where are we at right now?
We've got the overview guide, the loot guide, how to get into raiding guide, and 5 out of 9 boss guides up, including Kill Jaden. As I speak, I have Ancelin and Squishy formatting 3 more of the guides from Fat Boss TV, so maybe by the end of the show, we'll have 8 of them up.
Gotcha.
So, they're definitely moving along really fast. There was, like, some last-minute testing, and Fat Boss, like, wanted to, check all their facts before giving us something that was maybe outdated, and they're giving us, like, 3 guides a day. So, it's really good.
It's a lot, yeah. And that comes out the same day as you will be able to upgrade your legendaries to 970. It won't be instant. It'll be very similar to the way that it worked in patch 7.1.5. Instead of distilled Titan whatever essence, it'll be, what is it called? Stabilized? Yeah, it'll be stabilized Titan essence. And that's how you'll upgrade your 940s to 970, because of course all the legendaries from here on out will be 970. Like we talked about earlier in the show, the Midsummer Fire Festival begins on June 21st. You will have some new items that you can purchase, including the set of matches, which I believe is a toy, and the Igneous Flameling, which is a pet. Also, don't forget about those reputation experience bonuses that you can get while the Midsummer Festival is in town, because they're significant. Also worth mentioning is that when the Trial of Style comes out, you will be able to transmog your holiday items during the holiday. So if you don't have the holiday items from the Fire Festival that you would like to transmog in the future, you may want to get them now so that you can.
Right, and there are bonfires that are in Draenor and the Broken Isles, and those are brand new this year, and more bonfires. Fires means you have, like, more experience, and, more burning blossoms. You can buy all the items. And I'm happy because it felt weird that the new areas were not festive at all.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree. It was kind of like for Draenor, they did the whole dress up your garrison with the holiday decorations. Yeah, and then like Christmas came this year, and it just felt like so much less exciting because it was only in Dalaran and it wasn't really anywhere else. So,
Yep.
Ooh, speaking of other new stuff coming, the Blight Boar.
This is exciting. It's a mini game that's added to the Dark Moon Fair, and it's an undead death metal rock area, and you have to kill the Death Lord Knight and protect the band, and you get all these weird cage helmets and a guitar called Necromedes, the Death Resonator. And it seems really fun, and the music, the soundtrack is pretty fun as well. Yeah. And that's next in town on July 2nd.
July 2nd. Then on July 11th will be the beginning of Burning Crusade Time Walking, and the reason this matters is because that's when you will be able to participate in Black Temple Time Walking and earn your Warglaves of Azeroth that can be transmogged now.
You need to talk for a few minutes because they just put up tuning adjustments.
I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk for a few minutes.
All right.
So
I'm typing.
You type, I talk. So Burning Crusade Time Walking will be your first up. Really, Mara? My cat is also going to talk. She's going to meow. Burning Crusade Time Walking will be the first opportunity that you guys have to do Black Temple Time Walking, which obviously a ton of people are excited about because the drops from Black Temple Time Walking will be all of the same look and feel gear that you got back in Burning Crusade, but it will have Legion stats on it. There will also be new drops for Monks and Demon Hunters and Death Knights since they weren't around, and they tried to reimagine those pieces of gear as if those classes had existed, so they don't look jarring compared to the other things that drop. Plus, you'll be able to get your pets for raiding with leashes, Wrath of the... No, not Wrath of the Lich King. I can't remember what the Burning Crusade one was called. I think it might have just been 2 or 3. Whatever. You'll also be able to get...
something with this one, well.
What was it?
I'm looking it up. I thought it was like... Oh yeah, drinking from the Sunwell.
Drinking from the Sunwell, yep. So you'll be able to get your rating with Leasha's pets. But the thing that people are most excited for, I think, is that you will be able to earn transmoggable Warglaives of Azeroth. The way that you do that is that you go on any character on your account, and if you've earned the Burning Crusade version of Warglaives of Azeroth, you'll get an achievement, and then that achievement starts you on the new time walking achievement. You'll walk in, it's called like Hold These For Me Until I Get Back. You go in and you complete time walking, and if you've already earned those BC Warglaives, you'll receive them, and they are transmoggable on your Demon Hunter. This is account wide, so it doesn't matter what character you've earned the Warglaives on. Do they have to be equipable?
Exactly.
No. Yeah, they do.
Well, yeah, so like you can earn them on a rogue, a Demon Hunter, warrior, monk, and death knight. So you can earn them on any of those classes, and then kill Illidan time walking on any class.
Yep.
And then your Demon Hunter, who can be totally uninvolved in the other steps, can transmog them.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool that it is something that you can do among multiple characters. So, and if you've already earned them and they're sitting in your bank, you're good to go. It's not like you need to re-earn them again once the patch comes out. As long as you have them, you're in good shape. So I think a lot of people are really, really excited about that. Are you good? Are you good now?
Yeah, I'm good. Squishy is covering it. I love having extra people.
So nice, right? So you want to talk about the Auction House Dance Party?
Yeah, so the Auction House Dance Party is a micro-holiday which is scheduled for July 22nd. The auction houses in Stormwind and Argrimmar have been converted into dance studios, and you can show off your moves. And this is really cute because there's like a disco ball, and the floor lights up with different colors, and the announcers periodically like bring up different races onto the dance floor. And it just seems fun and silly. I wonder what will happen to the auction houses for that day, but we'll see. The decorations look super cute and really interesting, flashy.
Yeah, and you definitely can't miss it. Like if you go to the auction house during that period of time, you will not be able to miss it for sure. And then I'm not 100% on the date of this. I'm not sure if you are, but I believe the Trial of Style, I think the first time you'll be able to attempt that is August 17th. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I didn't paste like the full schedule of events because like it was going on until
Listen,
December.
I'm really excited about the Trial of Style, okay?
I know. So I think it's the 17th to the 21st, and in the Q&A we had last week, the devs are saying that, you know, it's not a micro holiday, there are rewards, and they might bring it back in the future and have like different quote seasons of the Trial of Style.
They have to. There's like 55 themes. There's no way they could do it once a year. It wouldn't. WoW wouldn't last that long. It'll definitely be something that if it's not weekly, it'll be monthly or bi-weekly because there's so many themes data mined. It's unreal. So I'm excited about that, and I felt like a lot of people when I made videos and stuff about it were excited for Trial of Style. So if you aren't able to do it, don't worry. Working as intended. Although I will say, unfortunately after that, because I really wish that was something that had been available when 7.25 came out, but it also does give us something to look forward to when Tomb of Sargeras isn't new and exciting anymore, and you know, we're getting a little bored. We all have ADD, so we need to be like fed things very slowly, or else we'll just consume them all at once. We can't be trusted.
We'll just like crash into a wall and not know how to pace ourselves.
We will eat the whole bag of chips in one sitting. Do you want to talk a little bit about Tomb of Sargeras?
Yeah, so we covered this a little bit before, but just to reiterate, the guides are being written by Fat Boss TV. They cover all the abilities in detail. They're meant to be companions to their video guides that they put out. You know, they're really high quality. You've obviously seen them. They have millions of views. They will cover role responsibilities, strategies. They even have, you know, they've done all the testing, so there's like heroic tips and mythic tips. We also have a tomb overview, all the rewards and the loot, including the relic charts and like what relics are for what different, you know, like abilities. We also made a new getting into raiding guide because, you know, with all these heirlooms and like new player stuff, we want to make sure that if you aren't raiding but maybe want to try it, we have a guide for you as well. So Pyromancer Sarge, who was a destruction writer, he wrote the getting into raiding guide, which like tells you like if you've never raided before, like what should you do, like how should you prepare, you know, like movements, you know, like that's important as well.
There is like so much to it too. So I've talked about this. This is actually a really great example because I've talked about this on this show before that my sister-in-law, Nick's sister, started playing WoW about a year ago, and she has like 0 to 110 grinded out WoW as a single player game. She's never done a dungeon, she's never played with other people, and even her she's so like in a bubble when it comes to World of Warcraft. She doesn't like reach out to me for help. I don't know that she needs help, and she hasn't even looked up a lot of stuff. So like recently she was like, why does everybody all do this thing together? Like, can I go? Like, what's going on? So we brought her to a raid. Oh my god, bless her soul. She had been using her artifact power, but had never done any artifact knowledge, hadn't been distributing her points. And it's like, it seems so obvious to us, but it's one of those things that you really take for granted. If you were like completely brand new to this game, it is so much to take on all at once. So again, this is one of the things I would love to see the data behind it, but you know, there's so many people that this type of stuff is so incredibly helpful and useful for, and it's so great because I showed her she plays an outlaw rogue. I showed her like the outlaw rogue guide, and I sent her the new one for 7.25. Oh my gosh, she's already got her artifact knowledge to like level 36. It's so impressive. Like, she has spent all of her, she's been going and doing all world quests that are resources so that she can spend the resources on artifact knowledge. It's honestly, it warms my heart. You have no idea. It's like the cutest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. So we brought her to raid a couple times, and she's like incredibly good at mechanics, terrible at DPS. But like, she lived through Trillax on heroic her first time. Like, that's so impressive. Like, 0 DPS or not, like, there are people who have been raiding with us for years that can't live through that kind of stuff. So
walk into the beam.
Yeah, the beam looks bad. Everybody's like, you should get underneath the boss. She's like, I will die if I stand underneath the boss. I'm going to avoid everything, and that includes damage. It's amazing. So yeah, those types of guides are really useful, and I feel like they're an underappreciated resource because so many people take that kind of like, oh, that's everyday common knowledge for granted. It's like my sister, when she started playing last year, was like, I would have never known about rerolls if you hadn't told me about them. Like, I would have never known they existed because it's so not outwardly obvious to other people. So anyways, that was just tooting your horn there.
Right, like, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Yeah, you just wouldn't really know about it. But I mean, if you've been doing it for years and years and years, you know there should be something. So I don't know. It's kind of a cool perspective to see somebody play WoW from, because we're all so jaded with our, I've been playing since this expansion and I know everything and I have everything. So I don't know. I just really enjoy the like newbie perspective in a very genuine way. I really enjoy it. So ooh,
yeah.
Oh my gosh! Talk about the other things so that we can talk about the Blizzard stuff, because I'm so excited.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the general Wowhead guides before the Blizzard stuff, or does that make sense to keep it after too?
We'll talk about Wowhead stuff last, because that's a good time to bring in. So wait, do you want to talk about Warcraft logs first?
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
so
I
Warcraft
got excited.
Logs. So you know, Warcraft logs is, you know, everyone uses it. It's this awesome. If you're not into raiding, it's this awesome site where you can see how you've done on a fight and like why you've died and what your DPS is, and you can compare it to someone else that has similar gear. And in Warlords, they had this interesting feature called the Problems panel, where it would try to analyze like maybe why you died or why you're raid wiped. Like, did you guys not use potions, or did, you know, a lot of you died at like the green goo? And they brought it back for Legion, and the Wowhead strategy guide should be linked on the Problems panel if you you know, need any more help. So that's one way to find the guide if you're a frequent user of Warcraft logs or Wowhead.
Yeah. Okay, I'm so excited. I was just telling Perk a little while ago that I'm so into conspiracy theories when it comes to Blizzard. I think I'm going to make a video about, like, me and Blizzard conspiracy theories, because I have so many. I have so many tinfoil hats involving Blizzard. Like, ugh, I'm not even going to talk about the one I was telling you about earlier, because I need more information before I put that one out in the world. But, so, Halinka is leaving World of Warcraft. I need to wipe the smile off my face, because I look way too happy about this, but I'm so excited. Because Halinka is, like, huge in the World of Warcraft department. Like, I feel like he's a big deal. He does, like, all the PvP stuff. And he's not going to a different company. He's still staying in Blizzard, unannounced where he's going. Okay, follow me, people. So, within the last year, Tom Chilton left World of Warcraft working on another Blizzard project. David Kim, who is the lead systems designer for StarCraft, left StarCraft, unannounced Blizzard project. Dustin Browder, who is all in charge of like class balances and stuff like that, left Heroes of the Storm. And Blizzard was recently hiring in their incubation team, which is led by Alan Adham, and their whole like initiative is new game development, new IP development. Everything is new, new growth, all that stuff. And recently, Blizzard had posted openings for hiring someone for a mobile game. They wanted somebody with mobile game development experience. We've lost all these huge developers, and the last time we lost developers like this, we got Overwatch. And the time before that, we got Hearthstone. So, like, I think all of these guys are going to make some sort of super, like, mobile game. Like, I think they're going to make some sort of, like, offshoot Overwatch, like, tower defense game, or...
I think Warcraft, because they said they wanted people that knew the franchise for some of these, like, mystery positions, so... But I mean, Hearthstone was. But like
it could be like a Heroes of the Storm tower defense game or something, like where it's all heroes.
Like there are MOBAs on your phone you can play.
Well, even if I just for some reason my head keeps going back to tower defense, and I don't know why that is. And the reason that I think that it's gonna have Overwatch or Diablo involved is that Alan Adham, when questioned about the mobile game opening, he like was just like, oh well, you know, like Overwatch or Diablo would lend themselves really good to like mobile game format. So like it's either gonna be something that's multi-franchise, or maybe they're working on multiple mobile things. I mean, we've obviously seen them with the Legion Companion app. We've seen them update the Armory. So it could be that the WoW developers are going to do something that is mobile WoW, and there could be so much they're doing. I mean, obviously with the missions and artifact knowledge and the way they've been handling the Companion app, but if they were to do some sort of like merger of that
I could see like Halinka do, like, obviously you can't, like, do an arena on your phone, but I could see if he was moving towards something that was, like...
Mobile pet battles.
You know, like, right, yeah. Or, like, I mean, something more combat-focused than the Legion Companion app. Like, you know, you're doing something where you're fighting another player online, but maybe in, like, a Warcraft theme.
My other thought of what it could possibly be is we've heard people are constantly pestering Kaplan if Overwatch is going to switch, and he's like, no, Overwatch is not going to switch. Switch is not made for that type of, you know, resource load. But, you know, that's not to say there couldn't be an Overwatch spin-off game that could be on other platforms like mobile, and I feel like something like the Switch could really lend itself to, like, I could see an app being on iOS, Droid, and Switch because it has a very similar interface. So I'm dying to see what is going to come of this with all of these huge names leaving their games to go to these unannounced projects, which are all led by Alan Adham, who was one of the original founders of Silicon and Synapse. Like, this is so tinfoil hat. What is going on? I need to know.
I need to look this up because I thought Craig Amai, who was the guy who, the developer who did all of the artifact weapons, like that whole storyline, he announced that he was stepping back and doing some other exciting projects.
They're all doing something exciting. I just know it. Like, we're going to get a huge announcement this year at BlizzCon. I'm telling you, I'm so jazzed up about it. I'm so jazzed up. Like, Perk can confirm this says speculation in all caps. Like,
I know. Yes, it does. It's like
so excited. Like something is going on. I can smell it. I know it. I know something's going on. I'm really excited about it. But moving on from my tinfoil hat theories, just something is happening. I'm really excited about it. There is other stuff going on in other games though that we know of. Like for instance, Overwatch has a new map coming soon. It's called Horizon. It's the lunar base where Winston was stationed before this terrible like Planet of the Apes uprising. It's like very dark. And Jeff Kaplan's also left some hints saying that a new hero is on the horizon, and we still have this kind of like missing small animal. So I think we're going to be getting a new hero pretty soon that might be like a jetpack cat or a rocket raccoon type character. So excited to see where that goes with it. Also, we talked a little bit about this last week, but Destiny 2 is now available for pre-order, and if you pre-order it, you will get early beta access. Now, what's interesting about this is that Destiny will be releasing on Battle.net almost 2 months after its console release. Its console release is September 6th. It won't be coming out to Battle.net until October 24th, but I mean, previously it wasn't on PC at all, so you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. It's going to set you back $59.99 for the standard edition, $89.99 for the standard edition with all of the expansions, or $99.99 for the digital deluxe version, which includes the expansion passes plus some extra stuff. Of course, you can use the tokens, so if you have a lot of WoW gold, this is a great thing to use it on. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of cross-game promotion. I want to hear them.
Yeah, so I was looking at this. No, so I was looking at the Battle.net page, and it seemed like, you know, they always list a few things, and I was looking for it, and they only listed Destiny, like, little perks, but I'm like, oh, like, this would, you know, it's, you know, they have the same layout, and, like, every other game that is digital deluxe, you know, has stuff for every other game, and now Destiny's part of the family, so I think stuff is going to be coming. Like,
it'll definitely be, if it's anywhere, it'll be Heroes of the Storm. If there's anything, we will see it in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you might get rewards in Overwatch, but Heroes of the Storm is all about those cross-game promotions because it's got all the heroes in it, you know? So, I mean, and speaking of which, this is a perfect transition because in Heroes of the Storm, there is one of those promotions going on right now because they've released a new hero. His name is Mathael. He is obviously from Diablo. He's the angel of something or another. I don't know the Diablo lore. I'm not going to pretend to know the Diablo lore. What I do know is that you get those awesome StarCraft 2 Ghost Kerrigan wings in Diablo, as well as the mount that is pictured there in Heroes of the Storm if you play 15 games with a friend as a Diablo hero. I think you have like a week or 2 weeks to do it. You can play those in AI mode as well too, so they're pretty quick, all things considered, if you can get yourself a group. The Discord is a good place to check, as well as Reddit. Even like I've seen people tweet out like looking for people to play these with so that I can get the rewards. So if you don't have actual friends like in real life that play this game, don't fear. They just have to be on your Battle.net friends list. They don't really have to be people that you know. But yeah, that's what's going on there. And then also in Diablo, they're doing some cross-game promotions as well. If you purchase the Necromancer pack, you will get full access to the new Rise of the Necromancer game content, which gives you the Necromancer exclusive set, the legendary items, as well as extra stash tabs and a character slot. But you will also be getting a new portrait frame, a pennant, wings, a new banner, as well as a banner sigil. And in Diablo, you'll get that half-formed golem pet who's really creepy and gross looking, to be totally honest. But it's still a lot of good stuff that you're going to get for this pack if it is something that you're planning on purchasing, which I think anybody who plays Diablo even casually will probably pick it up because the Necromancer is so iconic, so iconic. Yeah. So, yeah.
I've been waiting years.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like even as recently as like 18 months, 2 years ago, people were saying Necromancer will never happen in Diablo 3. Give up the dream.
Right. Blizzard said that.
Yeah.
They were like, oh,
so,
like, you know, the Necromancer was OP, like he's gone, like, you know, not happening.
We're done with him.
Yeah.
We're done with my cat is being incredibly cute in the background. He's like sleeping on a cardboard box. It's adorable. Aww. Continue. I'm sorry. I get excited. He just laying like a little loaf behind me. It's really cute. Yeah. It's really cute. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's going on Wowhead before we get our questions in for the day? Also, this is probably going to be last call for any of our giveaways, correct?
Yeah, so wrapping up soon, the giveaway is 30 days of game time, and you enter in Twitch chat with WowG Time. Also, if you have any questions about stuff we talked about on the show, you can message SAS148. Just a quick rundown of what's going on with Wowhead and guides. You know, we've been doing a lot of work for 725. Some of the things I just wanted to highlight. We have a Chromie guide. It has speedrun tips as well as maps for all the chests and magnetars and pretty much everything. We have videos for every shrine and then a speedrun version of it. Something really cool we launched this week, talking about, you know, new player resources, is we made these class guides that were like very basic TLDR for new players, where like all like the super basic facts are just on one page, as opposed to like a bunch of pages. You know, we don't recommend 10 talent builds, we just recommend like one easy one, like artifact advice, general gear advice, and, you know, they're game for people that just, you know, want the class mount, or, you know, you play a little bit at 110 and you don't need to read tons of stuff, but you just want to, you know enough so you don't die in the raid.
Yeah.
So we're really happy we got to launch all those. You know, all 36 are up and updated for 725. And, you know, the full-fledged class guides, most of them are updated with the tuning we just talked about earlier. You know, our guide writers are always reacting to hot fixes and, you know, updating them frequently. So, you know, that's really awesome that they're doing so much. Like, for example, Vengeance has their damage abilities reduced by 5%, like Fire has a 3% increase, so they're trying to keep up with all these changes and doing a great job. We also have the big survival guide on Wowhead that just sort of summarizes everything in the patch, and we have a giveaway tied to that, which ends this upcoming Wednesday, and we are giving away 50 Wowhead premium codes, 3 Squirky plushies, a Rocket Chicken pet, and a sarcophagus toy. And with Wowhead Premium, don't forget you can gift it now. So if someone has left a really awesome, you know, comment, maybe they really helped you with Chromie, you can now go to wowhead.com/premium and, you know, gift them premium for a year, you know, if you want to show your
Yeah,
events.
it's similar to how people will gift like Reddit Gold. Like, you know, people will get excited about something they see posted. It's really helpful. That's a good way to kind of think about it.
Yeah. And then finally, we have a collections guide up with the latest mount, pet, and toy changes, because there's been a lot of, you know, old toys, old items like the PvP pennants that are now toys for the first time. There are toys coming up with Black Temple Time Walking. There's new mounts with Prestige. You know, there's a Tomb Raider title from Glory of the Tomb Raider. With Transmog, holiday items that are now cosmetic and transmogable during the related event, as opposed to never transmogable. So there's lots of things going on, and yeah, I think that's the basics of what we're really excited about on Wowhead this week. And you know, stay tuned next week for our Tomb guides, as well as our Midsummer guide, and probably some more new player guides.
Yeah. You know what you just reminded me of when you said the MOG rewards for Tomb of Sargeras?
Yeah.
You know how they've said in the future that you'll be able to transmog artifact appearances?
Right.
So I was thinking that it's really cool that the Tomb of Sargeras reward is...
So funny story about that. I think that happened when we had the show. So remember how I asked in the Q&A, I was like, hey, so like what's up with these transmog rewards on Sloopbag stream? And Blizzard was like, oh, we're trying to do something new. Yeah. So that very next PTR build, it was like the reward has been changed to a title and amount, and people are like, like this transmog, mysterious transmog set that we couldn't find in game or had no models for is suddenly removed. I wonder if you know, Perk reminded them that
oh my gosh. Okay, well, never mind. I'm going to take back everything I was just going to say because it's no longer relevant. Moving on.
But it is cool that they're trying to experiment and do other things besides mounts. So
even though this time they happen to be doing a mount.
Yeah. So, that's what's up with Tomb.
Jeez. All right. So do we have a winner for our giveaway?
I don't have the winner yet, but I have some questions we can ask people. Okay. So, Lone Samurai has a lot, actually. He says, now that 725 is here, is there anything not here yet that you think should be like the new auction house?
Oh, like mini holidays and stuff?
Oh, I'm not sure. He just said like new auction house. I don't know if he meant like a better auction house UI or controls, but I think that I would like the Moonkin Festival to be here earlier because it's very cute. They're little happy birds. So
I would like the mini holidays to be more like the auction house dance studio and less like go do something for no reward. Because the auction house dance studio is very like tongue-in-cheek. It's just the thing you sort of witness and experience as opposed to have to go do a thing for no reward. I wish that any of the mini holidays that were a thing would have at least a small reward, and that if it's going to be like an actual micro holiday with no reward, I would like to see it be something more like the auction house dance party. That's not really the answer to that question, but that's what I got for you. I'm sorry.
The winner of our giveaway is Stone Bridge with 2 G's. So congratulations, you have a month of game time.
Woo.
Let's see. We've got a few more questions coming in. I'll pass this on to Kitsuki. Northern Man has asked, ever thought about doing so-called grassroots section on the site that informs about classes or specs that are super easy to level at the moment? So that's a really good idea, and when we keep talking about the new player stuff, we're trying to use the term evergreen. So if we have like a getting into rating guide or a super basic 110 guide, we want that to kind of be like the evergreen, like it's always going to be useful. And we just made this leveling in Legion guide when all the heirlooms came out that goes over general tips. And I can see, you know, if that stuff goes well, I can see maybe expanding and being like, hey, like, you know, these specs are good to level, here's some leveling tips. Although between heirlooms and like assaults, I feel like you're, even if a class is bad, it's still not going to take you that much time to, you know.
My sister-in-law leveled an outlaw rogue with no artifact power. It can be done.
This question is giving me stress. It's with 725 here now, how long do you think till 7.3 PTR goes live?
Oh, it's a long time.
I'm hoping it's more of a break, because I remember with one of the raid Q&As, I think it was Morgan Day, he was asked about the pace, and he's like, yeah, people weren't thrilled with, Nighthold PTR and Nighthold progression and Tomb PTR at the same time, and it felt like too much to process, so we're trying something different. So hopefully there's more of a break. I feel like Blizzard has tried to stagger a lot of things, so hopefully there won't be as much of a need to like get 7.3 on, for new data ASAP, because we've got things like the Gnomergen Run event, taking place super late. I think it's in November or October, so I feel like Blizzard has enough to always give the impression that something new was going on for a little bit of time. But, for my sanity, I just, I don't want the 7.3 PTR. I felt it was kind of sad that, like, Nighthold fun stuff is being drowned out by PTR news. So hopefully that doesn't happen again.
I agree.
John Relum says, are you sure those Fire Festival things are transmoggable?
They are.
So it's a little confusing.
Well, okay, so right now, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I did mean to interrupt, but I'm sorry about it. Right now, the crown is already transmoggable all year round. For whatever reason, I don't know why it's the outlier, but it is. That being said, nothing else is transmoggable all year round, but with 7.25, you can now transmog cosmetic items from holidays during the respective holiday. There's a couple outliers that do not fit that rule, like the Vile Fumigator's Mask is one that comes to mind, but you will be able to transmog the summer stuff during the Midsummer Fire Festival, unless that's tied to Trial of Style, in which case that'll be true after August 17th.
Right. Also, because of how the system works, if you're the type that likes to have a set of RP gear or just, wear silly stuff outside of the holiday, don't delete the item because you can only transmog something in your collection tab during that holiday. So, you don't want to get rid of it and then be like, oh no, now I can't equip my Fire Festival outfit in January.
Yeah.
Another Lone Samurai question is, how do you guys feel that Black Temple time walking is an LFR? So, like, I'm okay with this because, like, Black Temple time walking for me is, like, a very special memory. And it was with my guild that was progressing and, like, trying to get more competitive at the time. And I feel like doing it with your friends and reminiscing is going to be a better experience than doing it with random people.
Yeah, but it's like if you want to do it with random people, there's going to be so many group finder groups anyways.
Right. I just feel like super watered down, like, Black Temple time walking and, like, random people making. I just feel like you want to have a little bit of organization to recapture that.
Well, and plus, if the idea is sort of, time walking in general is not a queuable thing, so it makes sense that you'd have to go to the instance and be in a group, because that's how you would have had to handle that during those periods of time.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not for Mists of Pandaria, but I digress.
And that seems to be about it as far as questions.
Right.
So we can just go over the merch discounts and the usual stuff, and we'll be good.
Sure. Well, of course, we do have codes from some of our sponsors. Jinx is kind enough to give us 20% off of all Blizzard products. This does go through the end of June. This is just last month's coupon because it's the same. But they did come out with a whole bunch of new stuff recently. And this is Blizzard, not World of Warcraft. And 20% is a pretty big discount. So if you were interested in anything on the Jinx site right now, you can use code WOWHEAD at checkout to get 20% off. Keep in mind that new Diva hoodie is coming out very soon. I think it's coming out in like 2 weeks.
I know.
So if that is something that you like, definitely keep this code in mind when you are purchasing, because it'll save you a few dollars. And then the Blizzard Gear Shop was kind enough to give us a discount code. It is code WOWHEADJune. If you spend at least $15 on the Blizzard Gear Shop, you will get a free Funko keychain. Pictured on here is the Murloc and the Arthas, but there are other ones as well.
Yeah.
So
so that's about it. And I'm super excited about those Overwatch hoodies.
Yeah, I am too. There's a couple of them. I want the Roadhog one and I want the Diva one, but then I really like the colors of the Zarya one, so I'll probably get that one too. I have a hoodie problem, so we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening, but I have a hoodie problem. But thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody who subscribed to us today here on Twitch. I do want to remind everybody, if you are subscribed to us or were subscribed to us using Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime, you do need to manually reactivate that every month. It will not auto reactivate, so if you'd like to continue supporting us in that way, that is how you need to do so. Thank you to everybody else who follows us here, who comes and watches us live, who watches our VODs on YouTube or on Wowhead the next day. Thank you for all of the support, and a huge huge thank you to all of our Wowhead Premium subscribers. For those of you who do not know, Wowhead Premium is a monthly subscription to Wowhead that directly supports the content creators here at Wowhead, and it gives you a lot of perks. Like, for instance, all of the ads will be removed as long as you're signed in on both desktop and mobile. You'll be able to talk in a special color on the forums. You'll be able to track quests, customize your Today on the Broken Isles, and so much more. But of course, the big selling point is that it removes all of the ads, and it's directly supporting Wowhead, and it's very inexpensive. It is $1 a month or $9 per year, and it can be gifted. So you can gift it to someone via Wowhead, or you can get a code from wowhead.com/premium that you can give to somebody, like, in person or in an email, or however you give people codes. I don't know what you do with your life, but thank you so much to everybody there. We will be back next week and every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time here at twitch.tv/Wowhead. I'm actually super excited because the show that will be about 1 month from now, we will be in person. I will be at Perk's house, so we will do the podcast sitting next to each other in the same room, and I feel like it's going to be such a different experience. Even though I feel like we changed the setup recently a little bit, so Perk can now see everything that's going on while the show is going on, and we worked a little bit on audio stuff, so I feel like we're starting to really get into a groove here, and we really appreciate all of the feedback and the constructive criticism.
What's it called? Monitor.
Yep. Perk's going to get a second monitor so that she can keep an eye on chat and everything at the same time. And I'm bringing her a boom stand. I'm going to get her all set up like a professional person, or as professional as I certainly know. But yeah, thank you guys all for your feedback and for your support. We are going to go, but I hope you have a wonderful weekend and enjoy Tomb on the 20th. And we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks so much again, guys. Have a nice week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Oops, that was the wrong button. This is the right button. Bye, guys.
Bye.